Hey, so today Damien, what he wanted to work on was seated drills and vehicular fighting, which obviously is kind of difficult to go out to the parking lot and do. Neighbors don't tend to like that very much. So we train it in here initially. What you see over here I have set up is just some folding chairs that emulate. We've checked our distances, our heights, etc., to emulate what it is like to either be on the far right when you're sitting in the driver's seat. Chair in front is acting as the steering wheel and dash area. One in the center is looking straight out through. We'll work on some distancing there. And then the last one is what if you're having to work through the passenger seat itself. So we're going to work on holster draw, which is a very different thing on how you treat your support hand. Where does it go? Because you have to take into consideration if things are coming through the window, like a knife, or a pistol barrel, etc. What do you do with this hand? How does it deflect? And how do you synchronize your left hand with your right hand draw so that you're not shooting yourself? So between the ability to cross body anchor to get that first round and join here versus your ability to draw cross body anchor and block, keeping that elbow as far out of the way as possible to get that first round on target. So,
all right, so then what we'll do is I'll sit back down and give Greg the camera here. And what are we using today to fire with?
Today what we're using is Simunition ammos in a 9mm, what's called a non-marking round. So Simunitions are what the police special forces use for force-on-force training. It's a real Glock 17. It's a real ammunition, but the projectile is non-lethal, so we're able to do it here in this room without hearing protection, but we do want eye protection, which I should probably put some on. All right, so what we're doing with Damien is normally we would treat this with, there's a lot of holster considerations, probably more than I should go into in this video. When you start about seating, where do you carry? If you carry at the 3 o'clock, but where you carry during the day is where you carry in the car, right? You really don't want to be mixing that stuff up, because if you have to make a decision point in an emergency situation, you'll just freeze. So myelination, muscle memory, absolutely critical. So what we're working with Damien today is on his duty gear, how he would normally wear in full uniform. He carries at the 3 o'clock, and we're using his duty holster. We've dropped into that, like I said, the Simunition Glock 17 with a full magazine, right? So on your time, Damien, you go right ahead. Okay, again, what I want you to do one more time. I want you to slow it way down, though. Let's see if we can get one round out with your hand anchored to your chest, but not on the gun. So don't go to so much extension. See if you can get it from the chest itself. There you go. Pretty good. Make sure that left hand is coming up towards your chest. You just threw it out of the way. Let's bring it up to your chest itself. There you go.
Oh!
Malfunction, there you go, nice. Good job.
That's never good.
Here what we're going to do is we're going to emulate, Damien's going to be the driver, this is going to be the passenger. I won't be sitting here because I'm not geared up for it. We can do that later. If I put on the right gear, I can sit here, and if he shoots me in the side of the head, it's not going to hurt anything. But that is a huge consideration to make. So I might get suited up in a bit, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Okay, you're on your own time, so whenever you're ready. We'll do time pressure later. How'd we do? Okay, clearly, like I said, we need to do a little bit of muzzle work on that and getting that natural point aiming down. This is unusual for you, right? Yeah. This is what we call, proprioception. It's your brain's ability to know your body's location in space. And you're going to have to learn how to anchor your hands and your body motion to keep that muzzle on target. And you can't use your sights at all, right?
Right.
So this is just kind of a repetitive practice.
No. There should be a second magazine over there.
There is. Let's slow it down a little bit, smooth it out. See if you can look down. So one of the things about proprioception is if your gun goes to the center of your body and you line your shoulders up with your opponent's shoulders, where is that going to go? Right? So find your natural center. You're going to use flash sight, but you're going to use the side of your gun to do it. So hang on a second, hold this. Grab it. Let's talk physics for a bit here. So what you have in a firearm is you've got the muzzle, right? That muzzle is just a straight piece of metal heading straight down here. My finger, on the other hand, is just literally half an inch below it and 3/8 of an inch above it. Wherever this finger points is where that bullet's going to go, regardless, right? So it's really about natural point aiming at this point. So when I come and I sit, and I come in here and I draw, now realize he's a bit behind me. This is where my shoulder is, the center on my butt. If I come up here and I draw and lean, pop. See that? Well, it's right about where you are, right? So learning to whoop, pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop.
Okay.
So to see what I've done here is I've leaned into that wheel a bit. So my elbow is in front of the headrest. So as I come up, I lean in, I'm using the center of my body, I'm trying to line it on the center of their body, and I should be pretty close to the center line.
Okay.
There you go, yeah, feel it out. Nice and slow, and look down that gun. There you go. That's a showstopper. Beautiful. See the difference?
Yes. It's just a matter of taking my time and getting more comfortable with it.
Yep, and that's what you want to do in the beginning, because you want to, eventually you want to myelinate that so that's natural, but it's not natural yet. Good job. Good work. All right, so this is a little bit harder to emulate because your front windshield is, of course, wider than what we've got equipment for. So we're going to bring all three of these in. We're going to kind of ignore the stanchions and try not to shoot them. Thought process here, though, in this case, shooting through your front, of course, it's always going to be further away because you've got at least at the very minimum a hood. It's also much more likely that you will see something at a distance of which you may need to react to, be it in defense of innocence, etc., or someone you're coming towards them and they're starting to threaten you. So thought process here is learning that when you shoot through a window, either side window or front window, but especially at that front window, because of its angle, that round is going to deflect massively. So your first round is a throwaway. So you need to have really good muzzle recovery. You need to be able to throw that first round out there and get that second one right through the same hole, because that glass is not going to collapse. It's safety glass. So in this case, normally what we want to do is put multiple rounds through the exact same spot, making sure that you get on target. We're probably only going to still practice for 2 to 3 rounds on this one just to preserve ammunition costs at this point to get the repetition in for the drill itself.
Okay. And we're going center mass, 3 rounds?
Yeah, initially that's all we're really concerned with. Now in this particular case, what this is emulating is somebody sitting, I kid you not, literally, right at the front of your hood threatening you. Later what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and move this all back and give you a little more distance, a little more challenge. Really the hardest part of this is the drill of the holster draw itself.
Now, am I bringing my second hand up or am I coming back to my chest?
So this is going to be very similar to a standard holster draw where you're going to come up, you're going to come fairly high, you're going to rotate. The important thing to remember here is the height of the dash itself. You can't shoot through the steering wheel, and so your steering wheel is going to be right here. So you're going to be canting slightly to the right, or not canting, you're going to be centering slightly on the right and slightly higher than normal because, one, you're in a seated position. The person outside is standing.
Okay.
Got it? So just go ahead and draw a few times. Get a feel for that, see what it feels like.
Correct.
Yeah. Again, much like your regular holster draw, though, prepare to shoot as soon as possible, even before both hands are on the gun, right? So when you're up, like right now, do me a favor. Hold on, let me switch guns. Go ahead and holster that. You just set it next to it. So go ahead and pull up, rotate in. Now see where you're at. Okay, good. And now look down at the firearm and see how nice and level that is. That's what you want to get to. And that right there is a first shoot solution, with the exception of your left hand should not be on the dash at that point, because there's a high likelihood you'll shoot through yourself. So as part of the draw, as the right hand goes down, that left hand comes back. Yes, just like your regular holster draw. Exactly. Okay. This you can do at home. You can set this up, right? You've got a SIRT pistol at home. This is just a lot of muscle memory. I'm also going to stand here. Hold on. I'm going to stand right here and give that elbow. Oh, I'm going to stop the camera for a second.
It's right.
Okay, sorry about that. So I stopped the camera for just a second because I was doing too many things. What I was doing is right here, I was standing behind, see if I can show you, about like that, to emulate more of the thickness of that seat. So because what was happening is Damien's elbow was coming back a little bit too far. So I wanted to get a feel for what happens when you have an elbow restriction due to that heaviness of that seat or the width, or they have those seat wings and stuff like that.
So ready to go live fire on this one?
Yep, absolutely.
So 3 rounds?
Yep. Okay, let's take a look. Holster up.
First one went center mass, second one went high.
Second one went high. So one of the things, like I said, the important, and that what that tells me though, obviously, is as you're elevating your gun, you're not keeping it on the same hole. So that means that two of those rounds would have probably gone through the windshield, both diverting. Right? So this particular drill, you want to make sure once you level out that your rounds should be within a very tight pattern.
Okay.
Nice and slow and smooth. There we go. There we go. Much better. Because at each subsequent round, if it's slightly off from the first, will of course knock more glass out of the way. And you will, of course, like everything, you will continue to fire until the threat is neutralized, right? Right now, we just don't want to afford to do that. All right. There you go. Good shots, good shots.